It is finals preparation special episode. A lot of people would probably wait to talk about this in like round 21, round 22. It's just too late then for me. For a lot of leagues, trading then with the bottom of the table, it's collusion. It's pretty gross, so it's off limits. Probably any trades after round 21, I think, are pretty dire if you're playing 23 onwards. And some finals schedules we'll talk about today starting 22, and that's just BM, as in bad manners, or goes against all integrity. So it is the sweet spot right now. It's round 17, 18's a buy, 19's a mini buy, 20. Any trades after 20 are questionable. 21 after 21, absolute no-go in my opinion. So we are giving you guys this banger. This is just a mega episode where we're going to cover off a huge array of things. First of all, we'll go through the different schedules. So 22 to 25, 23, 26, 24, 27 are the major ones. If you play anything else, I'm sorry. But the information's pretty valid across the blended options. If you do have like a 2-round, I think you can do a 2-round or a smaller one, maybe even a bigger one. And the beauty is a lot of the teams that are kind of good in one are nearly good in all. It's really interesting this year. The strength of schedules are pretty solid across the band. You'll see some variance, but it's nothing like, there's not complete swings from 0 to the top really. So we'll talk about that. Then we talk about some accountability stuff from our last buy low, sell high, just because I want to bring that type of approach to like the content game. I think a lot of people are happy to throw hot takes out there and ideas and and then they never review it and talk about it. So anyone who's seen my content recently, especially on Instagram, when I do the accountability post on a Monday, which is just saying, hey, these are the guys I recommended. Did they go decent? Did they go fine? Or were they like a bit of a flop? And I quickly just give you an update on the matchup, which again, isn't my opinion. That's just a model data and it's tracking pretty well. Gun calls are dropped to 50%. So if a guy has a gun, it's pretty hard to reach the gun threshold as a success, so it's dropped. But favorable and elite guys, if you have them in your Oracle and whatnot, or reading my social medias or on the video the matchup, they're still going pretty good, dude. It's 60% plus, which is pretty sick, meaning there's a pretty good chance they're going to score their average or above, or in the top 5 in their position. So really good indicator there. So that's sort of the plan, Griff. I just wanted to talk about a high-level summary for the finals period, which I'll share right now. Basically, the key takeaway for the period is that the Sharks across all windows are pretty much the team to target, right? So really good buy low in Ronaldo, for example. Trindle is the cheapest kind of half you could get that could hit a few upsides in finals. The floor is pretty gross, but one to sort of monitor. He's a gettable guy. Ero, obviously a big name. Siona Katoa is still a little bit gettable given some low scores, only just coming back into the team. Ramian might be on some waivers as a low ownership guy that if you're in trouble now for depth, but you're in a good ladder position, hey, he might be stashable just to hit some upside. Nikora, another one. Absolutely. So Sharks look good. Cowboys, the one that I want to talk about. Actually, despite having a bye in 25, their schedule's still gun. Just who they play are so dire that my modeled data, which by the way, I forgot to mention, a lot of the names we're going to talk about are presented via the Draft Oracle stats suite, which you can all access if you're on the platform. And then we're just going to discuss them. So the model surfaces names and we just talk about them. They're not always bang on because it's statistically derived. There might be other names like a Latrell who isn't brought up through the model that might be a good target. We're not going to go into that because it's too hard for us to you could speculate on anyone. So what we're doing is using the modeled names and then analyzing them just at a soft level. And I don't even have all of them. So if you are an Oracle user, you have a far bigger list of targets. We're just touching on some key ones and some interesting ones. But the Cowboys, what I wanted to say is in the model data, they do get punished for having buys. Just like any other team that has a buy in finals, they get punished statistically. And these guys are exceeding that fact. So the Cowboys' schedule is so good that even with a bye, the model basically says, wow, they miss an entire game, which is a huge detriment, but all the other games are that decent, they get a boost. Titans, St. George, and Roosters, all across the 3 periods of finals, all do quite well. So there's some other key names. There's a few others that float in and out, like Souths, even Penrith and Knights come good in the later part of the finals. Another high level call out is to target upside players in the buys. The buying for finals it's not really about like for like or base guys. It's really chasing guys that can, given an opportunity, score really well. So an easy call out is like a Lehigh Hopewade if Manly play a bad team. He's nearly always a beneficiary of a soft matchup. Someone like Ronaldo, a little bit more volatile, but does have that ability to go 100 plus, score a double, that sort of thing. And then similarly, if you're looking to sell a guy, you don't sell a guy because the model tells you to sell a guy if he's got a great ceiling and has high scoring potential, because he might just be the player in that team that scores tries week in, week out sort of thing. So it's the lowest ceiling option. So if you've got a guy right now, here's an example that doesn't necessarily come up in the data, but I'll just give you a name like Jack Bostock's proving to have decent scoring floor, decent. Hasn't really gone below 50, but he hasn't also gone over 100 since the first game in centers. So he's someone that you might sell who has a lower ceiling. We have not seen really a big ceiling from him. So that's sort of the psychology you want to have, is you're pursuing upside to cash in on the opportunity, and you're selling you guys that aren't really going to make or break your weekend in finals based on their ceiling and floor combination. And then a few other notes. Don't panic. The names on the list are only indicative. I do love the integrity and the quality of the data and the names that get pulled up out of the model. But again, anything can happen in Supercoach. Anything can happen in footy. Injuries can happen. So you could chase a guy. It could be the perfect name to chase. He could get injured next week. So just don't panic. This is all about planning and getting the juices flowing. And then the key takeaway for me is just chasing CT dubs specifically. Most leagues start 3 to 4 CT dubs. Therefore, there's a lot of opportunity to buy and sell as guys perform poorly or even, perform strongly. So someone like Greg Marju without Kalen Ponga doesn't go great. It gives you an example of a window that opens up for someone when they score low. I'm going to jump right in, Griff. 22 and 25. So sort of the first main tranche of games. The best fantasy environments, which is down the bottom, it's not team quality. It's based on the SOS snapshot in the back end for me, which is basically the opportunity. So we don't really look at the fact that maybe St. George don't score well. We just look at the teams they're versing concede poorly, okay? Concede a lot of Supercoach points. So your fantasy environments, Cronulla actually have a gun. That's pretty hard to get across 4 rounds, guys. I want to be really clear. To get a gun matchup as a team environment across 4 rounds is pretty hard. So gun for Cronulla, elite for Dolphins, Roosters, Newey, St. George, tough for Melbourne, Manly, North Queensland, Canberra, and Penrith. Now, noting 26 for Canberra is a bye. It doesn't come into the equation here for Canberra yet. They still get a tough one. Whereas Melbourne, Manly, and North Queensland, they're all chipped with the bye. So when we look at 2023, 26 with the Cowboys, they get chipped as heavily as these guys for a bye, and they still sit up here. So just want to keep planting that seed that Cowboys are great targets, guys. So that's the snapshot of the teams. Is there anything here, or can I move to positional names, Griff, for you?
No, the only thing is just to say that, after this round, Cronulla have finished their buys. So that's even more of a reason to start this week. If you are planning on getting Sharks players, this is the perfect week to be getting them.
Absolutely nailed it, mate. Thanks for calling that out. I did forget to say that at the opening, that like they have the best run, and this is the time when they're not playing. And if the team is anywhere teetering, you do what you got to do to get some of those guys that might be available. In 2025, the format we're going to kind of go with, guys, is I'm just going to say names. Griff's going to say, yep, he target or not, and then I'll counter if I disagree or agree. And then, we'll go into more depth on some of the more interesting names. So the model is surfacing Edwards, Hammer, and Kinney as the fullbacks. My hot take is Edwards I like for this zone. He does have a buy in 19, so he's still gettable prior to this initiating. Hammer, I'm not super keen on. And Kinney, I think he makes sense as a kind of a more gettable guy in that realm. Did you have any comments in that one?
No, that's pretty much how I've got it as well. I've got Edwards, then Kinney, then Hammer. But I would more likely be targeting Edwards out of the 3 for sure, especially after round 19's bye, because then that's it for the season as well.
Exactly. And the issue with Edwards in the past may have been like restings in 25, 26, 27. And this window means that I don't think that happens off a bye in 19. He'll just play through.
That's right. This is a good window for not worrying about the restings.
Absolutely. And you mentioned something really intelligently in the green room.
The cells.
Touch on it now. Yeah. So like the Siua with the bye, 4 and Edwards, Drinky 4 and Edwards with the bye in 25, and then Tane being lower end is great for Kinney or Hammer, so to speak. And I thought that was a great way for people to think about the sell and the target kind of combination. Is Siua's of a higher quality, so is Drinky, so you can get the higher quality.
Like obviously with Tane, you'd probably have to throw something else at it, but for me, a straight swap from Siua or Drinky to Edwards is pretty gettable, really.
Yeah. As for the CT dubs, Cobbo, Ero, Herbie, Gagai, Toya, Karaz. I've got Karaz in yellow because I wouldn't target him. I don't think the Bulldogs, as you said, they could be in shutdown period with the sort of where they're at in the ladder and his injuries getting him kind of potentially.
A loss last week would have definitely put it more to bed, I reckon. But the fact that they won, they might still think that they're a sniff of the 8, which they are, because the 8's not really consolidated as yet. So, but Cobbo for me, out of all those guys, I mean, Herbie's obviously a luxury, but
a little bit untouchable,
but Iro's, I like Iro, but personally, I would probably prefer Ronaldo for cheaper.
Yep. No, it's a great take, mate. Especially because Iro, 2 big scores, mate. I was in the Oracle this morning and dropped those 2 big scores out. It's not pretty, mate. There's a lot of 50s, and he's averaging mid 60s without those 2 ceiling scores, which are now really in the rearview mirror. They're 8 weeks, not 8 weeks quite, but they're nearly 6 weeks in the rearview mirror, bro. Iro's ceiling. It does worry me. Whereas Ronaldo, I can cop his 30s because at least he's got the more line break try upside.
Yeah,
granted, without Hynes,
their run as well.
Shape, and the run's a no-brainer.
Yeah, well, Hynes is back, so that should fix that. And then even just with Toya, I know Gagai's probably not as sexy these days, but I still think he's worth it if you haven't got a piece of Newcastle. But but Toya, I think he's a great option if you don't have the collateral to get a marky mark.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
yep.
So Toya just being outside him, I mean, he's just going to get assists for days.
Yep, no, I couldn't agree more. And the reason I sort of did include some of these names like Gags and stuff is just because and Cobbo, I wanted gettable guys. It's all well and good to say Herbie, Mark, whatever, because then it doesn't feel like they're achievable. So I did make sure both the stats suite, which is what you can use as an Oracle user to see these names that this comes from, I made sure it does capture some guys that are kind of more gettable.
Well, the sellers could actually get some of those guys though. So Lehigh and Isako, I think could potentially land some of those bigger name guys as well,
especially in a package. You're absolutely right, mate. Thanks for calling that out. But I think Gagai's a great one where it's his lower end in terms of name value, back end of his career type thing. I think it doesn't take too much of a fancy name to sort of get him, so to speak. Marky Mark is a premium, so is Herbie. They're just depending on team setup and scenario. And now that Mark's gone, Origin and 100 before Origin, 100 after that, I think that door's closed. But I couldn't say no to it given that he got surfaced. And someone could have the purchasing power to get him, mate. They might have exactly what someone needs. And therefore, it has to be mentioned that he does surface as a strong target for this period of time. In the halves, it's ICAT, Sharp, that's Fletcher Sharp, and Sam Walker. I actually think that's a bit situational, and I wouldn't be going nuts to pursue any of them because maybe Fletcher Sharp, I just don't think I'm that desperate for any of those 3. Maybe Walker. I don't know about ICAT for me. Is there anything that you had thoughts on?
I still think Sharp's interesting because 5'8" has just gone to the toilet this year.
True.
So that's the only reason I'd be interested in him. Also, he could potentially maybe get a second position because of being in the centres or being at fullback. I'm not sure. Look, he probably hasn't met the criteria, but at least as a 5'8" option, I think he's half decent. And also, the Knights are attacking that well that you just want a piece of it anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you don't, I can get around now. I probably wouldn't have been that bothered at the start of the season, but it really looks like the Dolphins are starting to hit their straps now, and I think they're starting to believe that they're such a good footy side. So he could go well in the latter half of this year. Obviously, he's got a bit of a knee injury at the moment, but you just expect him to but Sam Walker, I probably would steer clear of. There's too many rocks and diamonds performances in him, and just hard to look. He's still probably a target if you don't have a rooster or something like that. But it's just
makes sense.
Just not a perfect. I would have it in probably Sharp, ICAT, then
I like that order. There's no particular order, by the way, guys, with these names. That's why Cobbo's before Herbie. I just chucked prepping it. I just want to let people
obviously
know.
Herbie's first on that one.
Absolutely, and well said on that. I think the thing is, all 3 of those are beneficiaries of how good their teams attack. And I think ICAT's probably definitely changed his tune and just the sheer control he has in that team.
I'll throw one at you. If you're a Lockie Galvin owner, Would you potentially go for ICAT if you could get something else with it?
Oh, if I could get something else with it, yeah, now we're talking. I think 1-for-1, something about Galvin's play style just ticks the boxes for me as a super coach freak.
Yeah.
He's just like 70 plus on runs, efforts, line break, tries, offloads, fends, just does everything.
I'm just asking for a mate anyway. So
yeah. Yeah. I think if you get something else and it's in this realm, like if it's like a throw in and that person doesn't value Mulitalo, now we're talking. Now we've just made a real leap in terms of strength of schedule.
Yeah.
It's a real finals play that takes balls, but I would do that. Sharp, I just see him as untouchable in my comp. The guy just would never trade him. And Walker, I know what you're saying.
He's touchable in my league because he's an interesting owner in ours. Has Sharp as his 5'8". However, he actually has Jaden Campbell and Sam Walker, and obviously Jaden Campbell's about to get the 5'8", yeah. So he's potentially gettable, and especially because he's actually got Reece Walsh and Farlogo as well. So he has to. Yeah, he has to play he can't play one of them. You know what I mean? Unless Sharp goes to CT Dub. If he goes to CT Dub, then it's Gornski's anyway.
Yeah.
Because he'll just use auto emergency to try and play all those guns. But but if that doesn't work out, then he's basically surplus to requirements for him. So
no, I'm glad that you raised that you would pursue him. I just have him like mentally blocked in my mind, but I think in some leagues he might not be, and then maybe tries scoring under 80 is a good time to kind of knock on the door. They do play the next. I think they don't have any more buys till round 20.
Round 27.
So in that regard, there's not as big of an opportunity to kind of jump in there.
Yeah.
Toby Couchman I just put in there as just a forward because I just want to make sure we do have enough of like all the positions represented as a target. Fifi and Teague are worth touching on. Like, what's your sentiment towards Fifita? He's back now. He played 60 minutes, got a try, played 80 with a try, then faded in the second half. 2 tries in 2 games on the right. Where are we finally cooled on him? And I'm someone who was big on a buy of him. I went and bought him. You were big on a buy of him.
Yeah, I just think he's at his floor. You know what I mean? I think this is his floor right now. And like even with tries, that can potentially still be his floor. You know what I mean? I still think, look, it's tough with the Bunnies because they really need Latrell. You know what I mean? If they've got Latrell and they're pushing for top 4, oh God, I'm so into Fifita then. But if Latrell's not there and they start fading a little bit, it does get a bit iffy. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily what you want to be on the way home, but the fact that they've got a decent run in that period or in the whole period as such, then I'm still going to back Fifita, but I don't really think we're seeing his full Rabbitohs potential yet.
I think some of the sentiment is that this is Fifita, 60 minutes, maybe 80 if you're lucky, a try, and then just no going on with it. My counter, his 2 tries this season, his only 2 tries with Latrell out, and I loved Cody playing right edge sweep for him, put him two beautiful lines in the games. Or Ashton Ward might have been one and Cody was the other, it might have been. But the fact Cody swung right, I'm seeing a lot of impetus from him in the runs. I don't know about the minutes, but I'm seeing that Wayne Bennett effect where guys play their best footy. I just don't know where I sit with it. So let me just pose to you, and I'm literally selfishly asking. I have currently Fifita and Siua Wong as my starting 2RF, having sold all the other 2RFs to kind of develop my team. And then I have traded recently for Hamish Stewart as a bit of a backup 2RF because I needed coverage. I feel a bit worried that that's all I'm heading into finals with is those 3. Are you someone who says to me, absolutely beautiful? Because remember, I play 2RF. So I don't need 3. So are you saying like that's absolutely beautiful? You've got your base going Wong and you've got your upside going Fifita, or do you also think I should get off Fifita while his average is still where it is and try and get someone who's a bit more proven, so to speak?
Who would you go to? But that's my question. You know what I mean? Like
Tallis Duncan.
But like he's playing in the centers right now, so that's probably not ideal either. You know what I mean? So it's like. Like fully fit. The pivot into Tallis Duncan's quite fine. You know what I mean? I think his floor is probably a little bit better, but I just don't think that there's another forward that you can pivot to that's going to give you that upside. Whereas I think you nailed it already. You've got your base guys in Wong and Stewart anyway. And like, even if you didn't want to play Fifita for a week due to a matchup, then you can. You know what I mean? It's probably not going to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, because Hamish Stewart to Fifita is probably not as big a gap unless Fifita hits full ceiling. You know what I mean? So
I think with Fifita, what I'm hoping is when he does, if it clicks, it's a purple patch like he does.
Yeah, that's
whereas what's hard with him is sort of like we've been teased by like what he looks like. Like for me, because I own him now. I didn't own him. I bought him when he was injured. So I've watched 2 games closely, and with the ball, he looks epic. And I think, oh yeah. The thing is, if I didn't own him, Griff, I would be wanting to buy him.
Yeah.
Like, here's a guy, if I didn't have him, I'd be really itching to grab. I would think, God, that's exactly what I need. But as an owner, and I've obviously just come off, I think I'm on like a 2-2 run now, 2 wins, 2 losses. So I'm feeling a little bit like, oh shit, is my team good enough?
Yeah.
Probably in hindsight or with fresh eyes, or as someone looking at they might think, beautiful, mate. You've got bloody Fifita there. That could be anything. At worst, he's 60. At best, he's an 80+ guy of average.
That's the way I look at it. Honestly, obviously that's the way I like to play with, and I like the diversification that you've got. You know what I mean? True. With the 2 base guys and the upside player. So, like, unless you move into Hamoli or Huddy Young, or I don't really know who's in between anymore. It's not like as clear cut as what it was before.
Yeah, no, I hear you totally. And like, I can't get those guys, but like, for example, I wonder if I made the mistake of selling Jacob Preston over Fifi.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
I don't think so. I think if you've sold Preston, I think that's fine. You know what I mean? Because once again, if nothing goes well for the Dogs over the next couple of weeks, it could be season over. You know what I mean? So, like, obviously Preston could play this week, but they do have to buy next week anyway. So I don't know why they would play him this week if they got the buy next week. So
I don't know either.
I just was realistically not back until 19, I would say, and then depending on if they win this weekend or not. Who knows?
And the Dogs don't really pop up nearly anywhere as a finals target for like their schedule. It's pretty grim, their schedule, so it's probably a fair one, mate. With T, and I'm glad I don't have any guilt over discussing Fifita at length because he's such a gettable guy with true upside, but also people have a lot of doubts on. So I think that was worth discussing.
Sure.
With Teague, mate, he's just a gettable name. He's actually been weirdly better.
Teague's always been that little quiet achiever, that 60, 65 sort of range. Well, sorry, probably more 55 to 65
he had
range.
some down. I'm glad you corrected yourself. I was about to correct you. He had some pretty average periods lately.
He has. And look, he lost his spot. He lost his spot to Burns last year the year before, and he's come back. But right now, I think they're sort of rolling.
And he's benefited from the 3rd tackle in that little work rate, gets his floor just up to 60, and then the occasional line break try.
Yeah,
I still think he's
the thing that kills him. Well, the thing that's killing him right now is they look better without Nicho. Yeah, I mean they won 4 games in a row when he wasn't there. Yeah, or 3 games in a row, whatever. They were on a 4-game winning streak, and then he comes back and they lose. So.
I know what you mean.
But we know that Hynes is still going to be there. Like, they're not going to drop him.
And they were rolling before Hynes went down too. Remember, like, he was hitting his stride and stuff. So I know what you're saying. And what I want to call out here, like, would you do like Lasardi for Teague? Like, Lasardi's been good. He's got this classic hype around him. Teague's not as
in this final schedule. Yeah, I could make
25 buy for your 2RF when you can get a guy that could hit you 100 in Teague. I think that's pretty fair dinkum.
I mean, I'd try to send some trash with it and try to get something that can help me in another position potentially from that Lasardi owner. But like it's definitely something you've got to think about at this stage.
Yep.
Simple as that.
On the other side, Egan, a gettable guy, Dylan Egan, like he hits some upside or some, I guess it's upside for him, but he's great. I think he's gettable, like a Lasardi for Dylan Egan. If you want to play the schedule gamble there, I'm okay with 2. Kula Kefu, just with Origin and the whatnot, I wouldn't race to get him because he's not going to play for you immediately, whereas the other 3 will. But more than happy if someone wanted to get Kula Kefu. I think he'll finish, pretty decently, especially with ICAP.
I'll start rolling again once they get the full team back as well.
Carrigan and Stewart, Hamish Stewart's there as a lock when he's actually playing 2RF, so ignore that. And then Carrigan is
Carrigan's cheap right now, so
This is the last chance to get him, basically. And then they don't play 19, so you could have a stab there. But I just can't see the owner. If he's got that far, that you'd have to be pretty convincing. Now, a good one for that, though, would be if Tarpanay has a really good week this week, Tarpanay for Carrigan or something. You could maybe trick someone into that. I'm just trying to throw a name out there.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
On the sell side, we sort of touched on a few of them. Lehigh is the opposite to in 23, 26, and where you want to get Lehigh. In this, it's saying to sell him. That's more on a buy thing. Sami, I think if Kinney's a target, that means that the Titans' strength of schedule can't be that bad. Therefore, I don't think you need to rush or do anything to sell Sami. He's pretty low end. Holmes, I don't mind just holding Holmes as a goal kicking CT dub. That doesn't bother me. Chester, that's a buy issue on 25. I'm okay with you selling Chester off his average. I'm just going to power through these. Benny Turbo, I think with the buy, I think his average, you can sell him and you can get yourself a Teague or a Dylan Egan, a great guy to sell as Benny Turbo. IPAP, we don't sell Isaiah Papali'i at all.
No, you don't need to. It's not a buy issue.
The model's just raising him just because of the Panthers run and the stats, but he's just a guy, he's just matchup type proofish guy, Isaiah Papali'i. He's a work rate in a great team. They can score on anyone. Twal, I would still sell if he comes back and goes well. I'd get off Twal. They have a buy in 23, the Tigers. And he's just injury prone, and I'm just not interested. You know, there's a little calf there. Then he had the MCL thing. Someone else's problem. They can run that one. Yo as a sell, I don't care about. I'm neither here nor there. He's the base guy. He won't get rested, so he comes back to 19, 20 through to 25. He'll play, and that's beautiful. So I don't think you need to sell Yo.
Agree.
Well, 23, 26, the big one, mate. This is the big one.
Yes.
Because we play this, I believe you do too.
I do too,
So look at Cronulla again, a gun. Titans go elite. In North Queensland that I spoke about ad nauseum. South Sydney Rabbitohs, really interesting. We spoke about Fifita. And so he was mentioned in 22, 25, and he's again a target because of this as now his team enters the top 5, which is a really big call out. And the Roosters, so we spoke about Walker. We spoke about my Wong as well. He's a target apparently according to the model. So these guys I have are well situated in this. Doesn't give me much confidence as an owner who's been losing lately. I'm pissed off. But if I was watching from the outset, like someone like you, I might be thinking, damn, Wong's gettable. Like he hasn't hit much ceiling. Wow, that's interesting. The tough environments, guys, it's a buy for Melbourne. It's a buy for Canberra. Penrith, it's straight up tough. Canterbury, it's straight up tough. So we spoke about Preston and Galvin. And the Warriors, no buy for these three, just straight up defensively Supercoach environments that are tough, guys. Fantasy environments that are tough. Whereas these two, like you don't see any Tigers here who have a buy in 23, and you don't see North Queensland here who have a buy in 25. That's how
that's crazy.
The Cowboys schedule is, team. So just keep that in mind. Targets wise, the big one to talk about is the Tommy T Sitch. Like Manly are not in the top 5 anymore as a team, but they are now over this side. I went ahead. Sorry. Manly used to be in the top 3. I still think they've got a good schedule.
Yeah, so do I.
The surfacing of Tommy is a huge indicator for that. I know you in a flex league, I think he's a perfect target. In my league as a one fullback, I don't love it as a target, but it's a risk appetite thing and what your bench depth is. Just give me your quick thoughts on Tommy as someone who is pursuing him.
Yeah, look, the draw that Manly have in those 4 weeks is it's pretty nice. Tommy's obviously a target, but at the same time, obviously there is that injury risk built into a Tommy, but they are looking good. Manly, Fosball's going well. They're just looking like they're primed for a finals run. And the last time they were in a finals run that I can remember, Tommy T was averaging 140 in Supercoach. So, definitely on Tommy. Drinky, that buy in 25, it just kills it for me because you have to play that prelim no matter what. You don't skip that. You know what I mean? So it's a big hole in your team for that week to try and make the grand final. So for me, I think that'd be more of a sell to me. And then Kinney obviously with the Titans run is decent.
Yeah. So for me, just on those, touch on those. So Manly buying 22, that could be good for a Tommy off a rest, just with hammies and all his crap. That could be nice. Like if you do get him in the coming weeks, you just need him to survive to 22, and then you might you can potentially get a good game, 23, 24. It's in-game injury risk for me with Tommy, really, more than anything. I don't have questions of his performance. He'll always score more than 45 with a high chance of going 90 plus, which is what you want.
Yeah.
For me, it's in-game injury risk. I haven't checked their fixtures, but if he plays early in the weekends in those periods, then as a VC in people who do those loops and stuff, huge guy to pursue. With Drinky, believe it or not, mate, the schedule we run, Drinky, you can, if you finish top 2 and then you win in 24, you can buy in 25. So Drinky's like the fullback. If I'm
I think is that a top 6?
We run a top 6 with a top 2.
Yeah, top 6
getting a boon.
Yeah, top 6 at works with Drinky. So I'll back Drinky in the 3 games that he is playing for those. But yeah, in my final schedule with the top 8, it's just
no, I get that, mate.
A bit more risky.
No, it's got to be mentioned because it's a real thing. And then if you get my schedule and you lose the 24, you have to play 25. So you've just gone loss and then lose your gun fullback. It's a huge risk. So just have to touch on it. But the fact is here, mate, he has to be mentioned given how good their schedule is. Backline, Alex Johnston surfaces, Lehigh, as I mentioned, Ero, Cooler, Chester, Gagai, Toya. You kind of get the theme, Marky Mark and To'o again. Out of those names, I just want to touch on the gettable guys. I don't think the AJ owner is looking to shift him given how good he's been from a try scoring run. I think the Lehigh owner, you have a shot. It's closing, but you have a shot. Ero, you definitely have a shot. If someone came to me with the right offer today, I'm so frustrated with Ero not converting on matchups that on paper he should score 100. When he scores a 50, when he should score 100, I just think to myself, I could have kept Lehigh and I traded for you and you've just been flopping. So like he's definitely gettable, but I wouldn't really sell him given his matchups. I know I've got him for finals, so that's why I'd hold, but he's gettable. Cooler, if you could be strategic around the origin, going off to camp stuff, if the owner's needy, he is gettable. The duel makes him an extra boon. Chester, I think, is gettable, given the buys coming up. He's off a quieter game, I believe. Oh, no. Is that right? Yeah, I think he's off a quieter game this week. Yeah, I think, because I had him in Classic. I think he's flopped pretty hard, actually. So he's gettable, and he's got duel. And he's someone where, like, the 25 buy, he has the upside that can give you all those benefits of Drinky without the detriment. If he's on buy in 25, you can easily cover a CT dub on buy. And his price, Marju, Best, Alamotti, Tomoko for Chester. Like, I'm not saying you have to do this, guys, but I'm saying as a price component, he's a gettable name. That's why I love talking about gettable guys as opposed to Marky, where I don't think he's gettable. Gagai, we spoke about before. Toya, we spoke about before. Toya, harder to get. Marky, harder to get, as I spoke about. To'o, that's price dependent. I'm not going to belabor the To'o discussion, especially with 26. We're now talking resting period potentially for Panthers in 26. They've done that before. Especially now they're on top of the table this year. There was less rest risk because of the.
I think the fact that they got that round 19 bye, I think helps them a lot with the resting situation, and the fact that they have rested them all after the Origin anyway. I think that's, but don't get me wrong, if they've still only lost 2 games, and they're coming into round 24, 25, then it's a big risk. But
it's a risk. It just has to be mentioned. That's all based on price.
Well, with Manly, just going back to Manly, they've got Storm, which it's hard to say whether that's a hard matchup or not.
You're getting,
They got Dolphins, then they got the Knights. Yeah. So I think everything's really weighted to the grand final against the Dragons.
Yep.
So that's what you're weighting Manly a lot for.
Yeah, so if I go back, and the reason Manly aren't here, what was it? Go Storm, who was it?
Storm, Dolphins, Knights.
Yeah, let's talk about
Dragons.
That. All year, the Storm have been crap.
Yeah.
The Dolphins have been crap defensively until recently. Yeah. And the Knights have been good. So you can see where the original Manly hunt came from.
100%.
Now, the Storm's still conceding the fullbacks, generally speaking. Dolphins, I don't have that off the top of my head like I often do. And then you've got your bye, and then you've got Dragons. And Dragons have been getting better, man, believe it or not. They have been getting a little bit better. Like, not amazingly, but just that little bit better. So that's why we don't see Manly here, is their matchups have changed. Yeah. But Tommy, Lehigh still populate because those opportunities for them are still a real thing.
Sharks, on the other hand, they start with the Dragons, right? So this is why they're at the top. So they start with the Dragons. They go into the Raiders, which is probably the toughest one.
Then, if you can even say that, like,
that's right. And then they've got Titans in the prelim.
Beautiful.
And then they've got Eels in the grand final.
Bro, if I was coming up against a guy who had Nicho Hynes or Ronaldo Mulitalo, Titans in semi or Eels in the grand final, And
yeah,
again,
be pretty
the
pissed off.
Cronulla, they're bad because they're bipolar. You don't know which one you're going to get. And they're a flat track bully usually.
Yes.
So it's like they think they're going to win against the Titans. They're going to win. But if they think they're going to win against Para, they might flop because they come up all gassy. But if they should be chasing top 4, we should get a pretty switched on Sharks. And you can't control everything. But if you can see those fixtures coming up, it's all systems go, bro. That's a disgrace.
The Cowboys are in the same position, right? So that's why they're weighted so high as well, because they've got the Titans, the Eels, and
if any team's going to clock off in those weeks, it's the Eels, dude.
Eels Titans
clocked off.
Titans, Eels, bye.
Yep.
And then the Tigers.
Bro, the Tigers. All these teams will be clocked off, man. It could be just it could be like a slaughter for some of those games. So that's what they've got. 23, 26. Nicho and Sharp. I just put Nicho in there because you never know, dude. With you never know what you could get.
Mate, that's all. What would you need to offer to get to Nicho from a Lockie Galvin? You know what I mean? You could probably do it if you had enough firepower in the trade to pull it off.
But also, you can do it if the Nicho team is struggling, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it's not in mine. They're actually above me. But
if you haven't. If in your comp you look at the Nicho team and they might not make finals genuinely, and you send the right message and send the right fair package with a Galvin, and you say, mate, you need wins the next 3 weeks.
Mate, Nicho won me the comp last year.
Whatever.
Because I traded the guy that had the week off, right? So he won the first week of finals, and then he had the week off. But then Nicho had the bye in round 25 last year. So I bought Nicho when he was off for Sam Walker, and Sam Walker got knocked out and he couldn't use Sam Walker either. But I ended up playing him in the grand final, and I had Nicho, and I think he got 120 on as well, and I captained him.
Dude, that would have been fun watching that, a captain on the final with Nicho.
I did feel a little bit bad, but
not bad enough, mate.
That's it.
Supercoach.
I'll take the W.
Yeah. Toby Couchman again, just to kind of let people know that he's got a good run from like a forwards perspective, which again doesn't mean a heap, but it just is what it is. Api Coruscant surfaces as a hooker that's gettable with a good finals run. He has to be mentioned, noting the 23 bye, so depending on your format. Fifita again, Teague again, and Kennelly. So I love the gettability of Teague Kennelly. I love the gettability of Wong. Not gettable is Haumole, but worth mentioning. Locks, Cam Murray.
He is if you got Hudson.
Hey, great point, mate. This is why you're here on the show. Because of the buy in 26, a Hudson to Haumole is a really strategic trade.
I'll be taking that. I'll be doing that.
Down there, though, I wouldn't give away Egan on this format. I don't care enough about that. But you could go for an upgrade like Egan to Kennelly. Like if you want to chase upside, Egan to Wong. I don't think the owner would do that. And then IPAP we don't sell, so he's just surfaced on the matchups. Cam Murray, Aaron Clark, Carrigan. The call out for me is maybe Aaron Clark. There's an opportunity I mentioned on the waiver posts yesterday. Aaron Clark, he could really be the beneficiary of the forward thing, like Barnett.
There has to be somebody
JFH,
with no forward.
Tanner Smith, they're all going to play their minutes, but I think Clark gets a boon, guys.
Yeah, he's probably really gettable right now too, because I don't think he's coming off a good score either.
No, he's not. So he's definitely. Maybe I should do Siua Wong for Aaron Clark. Would you do that? Or is that overs?
It's par.
That right edge though, Roosters is sexy though, eh?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I would still take the airball upside there, but it's hard to say upside because Aaron Clark
keeps.
Too.
Yeah, bro.
That's what I mean.
He has line breaks galore, and he plays in the middle.
But I just think of him as base, but he probably isn't really.
Would you do? No, Fifi's too much for Clark, given what you just told me. Oh, I'd love to get Aaron
what's Clark? Yeah, I don't know. I know what you're saying. Like
he doesn't play.
Make that incremental.
Oh, Wong doesn't play 18 either. Maybe that's what. But I like Wong though. Like just the finals run. If he's been surfaced in my finals run as an edge,
I think you got to back Wong. You've had him all year. I think you got to back him.
Yeah. Okay. Love it. So just call those guys out. Sells wise, Siua to like Drinky, or he has a buy too. So it's just pick your poison there. I like that, and it's a gettable one. Siua to Tommy. Oh, that's pushing it for me because 24 by.
24 by is tricky though.
It's tricky. It is tricky.
I mean, if you can get out of round 1 at like round 23, if you can get out of round 23 with Siua, then you're sweet. But
it's situational. Would you give up Siua for Tommy? That seems like pretty hectic, man. Like Tommy could get into this week, and you wouldn't even make.
I know.
top 2.
I know, but I would do it.
You
But
would do
that's
that,
just,
bro. Truly.
yeah, I would truly do it. I
Would you
honestly
have
would.
to get something else back? Because Sua's been
Oh,
like
I'd like to.
horror.
I'd like to. Yeah, for sure. I'd want to. I definitely want to, especially after a 139 from Siua. Yeah, I definitely want to get some more, but whether or not that's
I
on the
can't
table
believe
or
you'd
not,
do
depends.
that. I think for that, I would just probably whip the horse dead, and in 25, hope that there's like an
Thing is, it's
AE
sudden death.
or
It's sudden death that round. You know what
I
I mean?
know,
That's the
bro.
thing. If you're playing round 24,
Oh,
if you're relying on
24.
Siua, you're dead.
Yeah. In my setup, I'd be, if I won top 1 or 2, 24 would be second chance. So you could
Yeah.
drop down to play the winner of the bottom of the next 4
Yeah.
in 25, and then
But it would still be sudden death, yeah?
no, 24 wouldn't. No, my
No.
setting is first and second. If you come first and second, right? So
Right. Yeah, they've got the bye.
yeah. So they go 23
Yeah.
by 24. They
Yeah.
play each other in my settings. Then the
Yeah.
loser goes to 25, and the winner
Yeah.
skips 25, goes straight grand final. You only
Yeah,
need to
we've done
win
that
2
one
in a
before.
row to win the comp in my settings, because I wanted to reward minor premier.
Yeah.
I was sick of having a gun season coming 1 year I went 20-2 or some shit in 1 year, and I lost in finals in straight sets due to injuries and stuff. And I just felt like I got no reward for the season I'd had. So I changed it, and it's been awesome, because everyone who's won, I've looked back and gone, you had the best team.
Yeah.
I've never looked at my comp since that change. Since that change, I've always looked at the comp and gone, yeah, that bloke, he deserved to win. He had the best team.
Look, top 6 is probably more fair anyway, especially in a 10 or a 12-man league. You don't want more than half the league technically making finals, really.
Yeah, and look, we should do top 5, but I don't, from memory, top 5 doesn't give me because I don't want to. Also, sometimes one and first and second, if you punish second more than first, which top 5 does, they could be split by a bee's dick. How rude is that?
I'm okay with top 6 on a 10-man. Yeah,
same.
That's fine still.
I always feel like the 6th team, mate, they're barely good. No one's ever made a run from 6 to win my comp. And if you did, then so be it, bro. You won 4 games in a row. Do you know how hard that is to do in?
I've done it from 8th before.
Holy shit. Oh yeah, you told me this actually once. Yeah. But you get my point, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And if it does happen, they've done something right around
exactly
planning
right.
or trades or drafting.
Yeah.
Whereas 1 and 2, man, they have to be rewarded. So I run that system.
Yeah, I don't mind that. The only thing that shit me about the top 6 was that you only had to win 2 games and you've won the comp.
I hate that too, but to me, when I think about it, and people may disagree, what is the point if I go for we play more standard rounds.
I know what you're saying.
We play 23 rounds of Supercoach to then the finals is more of crowning the person who had the best team. It's not a game of getting the finals and a new game. And people do say, oh, it's a new season, it's a new game in finals. It's to a degree, yeah, because you drop in your AE and stuff.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, dude, if I play this for 23 rounds and I bow out because I have some bad luck, I just can't get over that, because I've put in hours of effort and drafting and stuff. Whereas in our settings, you do only have to win 2, but you've still got to win 2 against, and one of them is against the best team in the comp.
Yeah.
The other best team, right? Because you play the second guy first up. So it's pretty tough, bro. Think about it.
Yeah, true.
If you beat him, you leapfrog, but then guess who you play again? The best remaining guy in the final.
Yeah.
So you're still having to win the 2 hardest games, even though they're only 2 or 4. Whereas the other group, of course, you have to win 4 in a row from that bracket, and that's really hard to do. But if you do that, kudos to you and whatever, but you still have to play the best team in the final, which is how it should be. It gives the best chance to the best team. And if you're first and you lose to second, you then get a second chance, but it's against the best team of that run. So it's fucking hard. No matter which way you slice it, you either win 3 in a row, or you lose 1 and win 2 in a row to win the thing against the best team, or you win 2 games against the best team with remaining sort of thing. So look, I'm happy with it. I can't find another way to slice it other than some sort of bonus point structure. If there was a way to punish, if I could do it where first and second get the benefit and third and fourth get more of a benefit than fifth and sixth. That's what I don't like, is third and sixth are on equal footing in 6. I hate that.
Yeah,
third could be awesome, mate. Third could be the year I come third, 6 beat me in the first round or whatever it was, but I was a better team. He just had a better weekend. Fuck Greg Marju forever for that. I think it was Greg Marju against the Titans. He didn't do anything. And I was it was a perfect matchup on paper. I just needed him to go 70 plus, and he got
revenge game too.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, that's a I don't know what off on a tangent, but good to talk about because I love all this like strategy stuff. So
the main point of the sellers is
yeah,
you may as well get off all your Raiders. Like honestly,
yeah,
if they're not
26.
playing the grand final, what's the point?
100% agree, mate. What do you reckon about Munster?
Yeah, I mean that's the same point, isn't it? Yeah, like the
Munster for
fact.
sharp, would you?
Hell yeah.
Too much? Oh no, you would.
No,
Fuck.
I'd do that. I'd do that.
Can
I
I
don't think
raise you?
is it
Can I
that
raise
big
you a
a difference?
philosophical question?
Oh, it is a little bit. Not really. It's 67 to 60. Yep. Yeah, go for it.
You're gonna hate this because like we haven't prepped for it, but mate, I've got this thought, right? Raiders don't play a grand final.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an argument that because they play every round up until then, that you hold them and you just because it's this like it's counterintuitive because it's like if they miss 24 and 25, it hurts your chances to make the grand final. But if you could get to the grand final with Hudson Young, there's always waivers in the final week, bro.
Yeah, no, I get
They've
that.
purged their bench. They've dropped all. It's you versus him with waiver. There's going to be value there. It's like one.
If I can't find a move, then I'm not giving him away.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I'm not giving him away just for the sake of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, mate. And the same with the rest of the Raiders guys, and unless it's like Tomoko or even Hawksborough and that, like I don't really. It's not that big a deal if you took a 55 for a 60. Like who cares? But but the Dogs do. The Raiders do still have a bye next week. So
yeah.
But after that, I get your point that they play from 19 up until 26. So
I just think I think strategically it's worth calling out for people that like it's better to have the 26th bye to me than the 24th, 25th.
Yeah.
Even the 23rd. They're all actually worse because generally speaking, depending on your setup and where your ladder will be at, you need to be really attentive. And that's where I hate to do it, but the Oracle helps you because it does show you where you're tracking for in the final stuff. So like if you'll know pretty well if you're going to be what buys you'll have, so to speak. Like for me, I know first and second will miss 23. So as a Terrell May owner, I need to watch it real careful because if all of a sudden, bro, I come third, Terrell May's value sinks out the arse because I get no second chance, bro, and I need to trade him like round 21 for something that'll play. And it sucks, but I have to because I need that value in 23, right?
Whereas with Young, like you could argue the point that it's easier to like pick up a back rower than it is any other position, really.
Do you mean like off waivers and shit?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like you could get away with like, okay, sure, Young's an 85 average and player. However, you could easily pick up a guy with a great matchup that week in the 2RF position that hits a 60 or a 70.
Can I tell you what happened last year? And it's the perfect example of this, guys. Guess who didn't have a bye in the finals last year? Eli Katoa. He got me there. I'm hammering teams. Grand final, no Eli Katoa. Rested, bro. But guess what? Yeah. Billy Burns got the position, got the start against dude. Was it you had Nicho? Was it Titans or was it someone?
Yeah, it was a
Dragons or Titans, bro.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
No worries. Plug him in and got a 60 plus. He scored a try, line break try, Billy Burns. And that will happen again this year. Some team will have some guy playing some bad team in round 26, and they will score you 55 plus. And who's to say Huddy Young wouldn't have just scored you a 70? It's 15 points. If you lose by 15, then maybe something else went wrong.
It was against the Knights.
The Knights, there you go. They were dog crap.
And they were the worst.
They were the worst. And so I just went fucking oath. Billy Burns right in for Eli Katoa, and it was all good. Yeah. But again, Eli Katoa didn't have a buy on paper, so you just never know what'll happen, man. You never know what injuries will occur.
No, that's right. No, that's it. That's it. Like
you might have
together a team.
You might just stash someone earlier for Huddy Young that round. You know, you might look 2 weeks ahead and go, yeah, I'm stashing this bloke for that round and figure it out. I just want to make it clear that 26 buy is actually the better one to have because the odds of you getting there are relatively low. So you might as well have your best team to get you there, then figure it out, bro. Then throw caution to the wall. Second thing is don't have more than one guy. That's a different story. And 2, don't have a duplication issue there where it's like in that round you've got a guy with a really bad matchup or you know what I'm saying? Like don't Drinky and Huddy Young. So in 25 you don't have Drinky, then 26. Like just try and make it as less of an impact as possible. We'll move on. 24, 27. Cronulla again. Cowboys again, dude. Again, they're 25. Drops in earlier in the slot there. Penrith now, bro, at the back end. St. George, actually, which is a strange one. And Para, which, again, just given their team quality, you need to use a bit of grain of salt. Guys, if they're getting hammered this time of the season, these matchups will be pointless because they'll be under the posts. Melbourne, Newey are buy-related. Canberra's buy-related. Manly 22, the buy doesn't drop in, but it gets tough, and Gold Coast must play someone pretty tough on round 27. I don't have it at hand for them to go from being quite a good matchup in this one. They go from elite a round earlier to a round later. They drop into tough.
That's crazy.
And I just want to be clear to everyone too, watching this, if you're new to seeing Oracle labels, like tough doesn't mean you don't play the guy right. Tough means there's just a challenge there. There's just something to be considered, okay? And then avoid is now leaning more, all right, maybe look elsewhere because the matchups are hard and there's a buy and whatnot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So names here, Dylan Edwards is back, Tommy retains. We get Jenkins, we get Murray Taulagi, because again, the Cowboys buy is a bit more early in the piece. Ero's back again. Ero, the common target here, isn't he? Rob Doyer, Tom Chester, DWZ Burns. So these are some gettable, lower end-ish, name value-ish guys. Burns has been brilliant, but you know what I mean, name value. What's your thoughts when we look at Fa'alongo as another sell? So all period, Fa'alongo is a sell high. Ponga with the 27 buy comes into our discussion we just had about your best guy on buy. Thoughts here, mate?
Yeah, it'd be tough to sell Ponga.
Brutal. No, you can't.
And like, even with that 24 to 27 with Fa'alogo, I mean, I guess it is the first round. So if you finish top 4, I think you can squeeze through.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously, yeah, everything that is brought up here is a definite target. Jenkins will be a target. I mean, the only notable name not on there is probably Casey McLean.
Yep.
But they're all definitely targets if I'm playing this final series. I'll just let everybody know, if you are playing this final series, make sure you change it next year, because playing your grand final in round 27 is just absolutely diabolical, especially with the restings. I mean, it's bad enough in 26 sometimes, especially when teams are so far in front. Like the fact that Melbourne aren't this year, they won't be doing any restings, I don't believe.
No.
But Penrith are definitely a major target to be still doing resting. So they are actually technically a little bit risky, even in the 26 final system. Really.
I agree, mate. And it's just like I said to you with Eli Katoa, there was nothing on paper, and then bang, my best 2RF, one of my best players is gone in my grand final. You just think, I did everything I could to avoid this, and now I can't even control it. So Griff's right, guys. If this is your setup, I implore you, just like everything else when we talk about settings, either help your commissioner change it or become commissioner yourself and make sure this doesn't sort of happen. You know what I mean? Because it's just ruins it for everyone, sort of thing.
The only thing that will stop Cleary from getting rested at that time of year is if he's in the running for the Dally M.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, and that's something you want to happen.
Yeah.
Clifford, Trindle, Hynes. Clifford's is just like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I think owners, I don't know if they'd have a reason to sell given what he's done.
It'd be pretty tough.
Yeah.
Can I just throw out a 5'8" halfback that hasn't been mentioned?
Yep.
Hugo Savala, mate. As a centre, has averaged 65.5.
Yeah, bro, he's a beast.
Obviously, his actual average is 55 because he played 6 and got knocked out. Played the first game of the season, or his first game off the bench as well. But at left centre, he's literally averaging almost 67 points, and he has a 60-60 average of 75%. So,
fuck.
I think he's just a little bit under the radar. I think he's very cheap. I think he's cheap.
Yeah.
So if you're struggling in half or 5'8" position, I think he's a definite target.
I love that, mate. Especially 5'8", Especially
5'8". I'm not even just considering this 24 to 27. I'm considering in general all final series.
No, and you're right.
It's just something that I just was thinking about, and I thought I'll just check you. And I'm looking at the Oracle. So thanks, mate. Yeah. I'm looking at the research, and
you can drop out the bad games.
Drop out the bad games.
How good's the cleaning, dude?
Yeah. Mate, I didn't even need to drop out a bad game at left center. Like his worst games are 51, and that was in round 14 against Canberra. Like.
Sorry, not the bad. Yeah, right, not the bad. I meant like the injury. You can tell when it's like an injury, and
you
can clean it up a bit. It's so helpful because you get to see the real value of people. Dude, I love that, and I wish he was gettable in my comp, but yeah.
I think he's gettable in mine. I think he is. So I think he is definitely a target that I might be trying to get.
I love that, mate. That's a great call out. There you go, guys. Big gem from Griff as per. guys like Teammate now off the no buy. Again, just how, I don't know how gettable. Like, just not gettable, is it? Appy's a good one.
No.
Robson comes into play. The back rowers are really similar. It's Teague, it's Kennelly, it's Fifi, it's Lukey now, it's Wong, Cam Murray, Clark, Carrigan, all formats. Carrigan, real big target, fellas.
Yeah.
Like, they're struggling. I just still think whatever situation they're in, Carrigan goes out and gets you 80. Just in tackles and runs, and with a bit of upside there. Just a great target. I was, again, why are all these good guys they're owned by the wrong guys in my comp, like the dudes that don't trade, the Savala and all that stuff. They're all wrapped up, unfortunately. We spoke about Clark. We spoke about enough of these guys. I'm not going to belabor the point. But this is your weekend for Sharks because of the bye. And then soon Broncos, Origin-y type Broncos guys. Now's the time to look at them. Sells-wise, Marju, I couldn't sell, mate. I don't care. At 27 buy, if CTW you can cover it. You need the upside. The team's too good at attack. Best I would because of injury risk, for sure. Tomoko, nice low end option. You could do a Tomoko for I don't know, maybe. Actually, there's not many there. Maybe DWZ. It's like
DWZ, maybe Chester.
Cooler at this point. Chester. Look, with their buy dropping out, I wouldn't sell Cooler. The team's too good. I don't really. I mean, the matchups. I just would roll with him. And you don't sell Mark. You don't sell Mark, guys. Even though the model says to sell him, do not sell him.
Yeah. Same with Jaden Campbell next, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly. Munster. You could 25 buy. I could see an argument selling Munster for the right 5/8. Like, you wouldn't go as low as I'd probably
24 buy. 24 buy for Storm.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay.
It's first week, so as I say, top 4 you can get away with it. If you're
it just depends on your setting up there. You need to do your planning. Few back rows and stuff to sell. Horsburgh, that's a finals issue. Yep, 26. Plathy, that's just a matchup one. So
Plathy is actually a little bit risky right now, isn't he? Because Donohue's coming onto the bench as well, and then JMK.
Yep. No, Hooker
still playing Morgan Knowles. Like, to me, I don't even know why they're bothering with Morgan Knowles. I'd just be having Plath there, and I'd literally just be swapping Plath and Donohue. Like,
bro, I would just do Morgan for 15 minutes, take the sting out with the biggest bloke, so your little dudes like Donger and Plathy, and then I'd just run Donger and Plathy. Yeah, I'd run them as a middle. I'd run Donger as a middle, just as a 10. And just
just have
around.
Forwards.
Yeah, and then do rotation things with him and Plathy, so they're fresher. Anyway, it's the problem as always when you've got too much depth, they just cannibalize each other. Brayley surfaces here. I only put him in here to say don't trade him. I'm just letting you know. Dom Young is a sell in this one. Again, I don't care about the buy.
I think that's Huddy. I think that's Huddy.
Oh, that it would be. Sorry, we're down at 2 hour reps. My bad. Sorry, mate. I just saw Young. Yeah. And then Talis Duncan. I just don't worry. I'm saying don't sell him. Again, this is one to note. Don't sell. Stewie, Couch, Twile. I don't know why the Dragons surfaces sells. Just ignore that. But Twile, 23 buy. I think you could run him, but I would sell him in the same way I would sell whoever it was I said was injury prone. Best. I would just get off them for their own reasons that are outside their schedule. All right, so we've done. I just checked our time. We're an hour on the schedules and the targets. I don't think we definitely went off on a tangent, but I think we touched on most of these names pretty well, mate.
Of course we did.
Yeah, and it was all strategic and stuff, so I'm happy with it. But this is the bonus one. I'll do this pretty quickly. So this is some of the claims we've mentioned in the past in the Origin one. We said to buy Walsh, Haas, Finney, Staggs, McLean. McLean's still gettable, and I still stand by it. If anything, it's even better. Staggs, I said, is a low-end buy. Again, it's hard with injuries and times. I definitely don't mind it. Yeah. Finney, again, you can't complain. It's still gettable with the Origin period. Haas, I'm still pursuing. I'm finding a way to get.
You're not saying no to either.
Walsh, though, mate, as an owner, I have not been enjoying my life since trading Kinney plus a lot of other assets for Reece Walsh. As a non-owner yourself, do you look at Walsh and think, God, I'd like him? Or do you think, maybe I don't need to sniff around that bush? Can you give me...
I think I went through that last year, man. I think we doubted him at around this time last year, and look what happened. Yeah, I don't actually think that they can turn it around this year. I think there's something wrong there.
Yeah.
This year, for sure. But I just feel like Walsh is too good a player not to let's see him play back-to-back footy for a while. You know what I mean? He hasn't played back-to-back footy since the start of the year. You know what I mean? So I think once they get the buy out of there, I think from round 20 onwards, mate, I'd just be riding the wave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'd be going for it. Look, if someone wants to offer you something to pivot, then if it makes sense, then fair enough. But I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think you just got to ride the wave, man. That's all it is.
So a guy in the Discord, which again I love the Discord, just so much good opinions and different perspectives. So you think one thing, and he said to me like, well, if you're going 23, 26, like what other fullback apart from Ponga kind of thing do you really want? Like where does he rank in there? It's like, yeah, there's not many that could go on a run.
I would still probably prefer him over Teddy, to be honest.
Really, bro?
Yeah, like Teddy, mate. Teddy's had some bad games this year, man. Like,
yeah, but so has Ponga, and I agree. Like Teddy's been really Origin has cooked the poor fella.
Yeah,
but are you sure with that one, bro?
Oh, I just think that his upside is just so huge, man. Like I'm going to back Walsh to go 130 plus over Teddy right now.
But Teddy's in a good team.
I get that, but they've also got their little heckle and
mouth to feed,
They still don't turn up some weeks as well. You know what I mean? They're a bit of a funny team like that. Like
they are.
One week they look like they could win the comp, and then the next week they look rubbish. So obviously they're going better than the Broncos, but I just think footy, man. Walsh just needs footy.
It's the Fifi effect where if I didn't have him, I'd be bloody fighting to get Walsh. And then as an owner, I think, fuck, I can't keep losing matches. What are you doing, bro? And he hasn't even been there because of Origin and buys and stuff. So it's one thing to say that like he could come out and brain it this weekend. I don't know if he will against the Roosters, but he's just one of those guys. As an owner, I'm getting anxious. But then if I didn't have him, bro, I'd want him. Like
100%. So I think you just gotta okay, maybe temper the expectations a little bit, right? Right. He might not be doing what he did last year, but I could still see him averaging at least 70 over the next over the last period of the year. And that's still fine. You know what I mean? Because if he averages 70, they're not all just 70s.
No,
you know what I mean? True, there's a couple of 40s and 50s thrown in there, so that just means that he's got a couple of hundreds coming too. So
true, bro. And as I said, the guys in the Discord nailed it. It's like when you peel it back and I'm pretty much really well on track to make finals. There's not many fullbacks I'd probably want, especially if I don't make top 2. That I'm like, well, if I need a maximum ceiling each week, and he could drop me a 30, but it's like I need to go. It's like Walsh is still the guy, regardless of the matchups, regardless of the team. He's just got a line break try in him. He's got all sorts of other like try assists in him.
If he was still available in mine, I'd be going for him. But I know he's not because he only just got flipped. So
correct, yeah. Well, I only just got him, and but you're right. There's no other like. See, if someone said to me Edwards or Walsh for grand final, for the finals, it's like I'd still go Walsh, right? Because it's like Edwards is just second triple fiddle. Young, we said to sell because of a range of things, right? Buys, Origin, and finals. I still stand by that, right? Like obviously he's just an absolute beast guy because it's all about price. It's not giving away for free, it's get stuff back. So
that's right.
Still stand by that. Cobbo, I still stand by that given the price is right. Ponga, I think we may have not been wrong, but he just looks awesome. But I guess we spoke about injury risks and other stuff.
Yeah, so they're there, but he looks like he honestly looks like he's gotten a little bit more durable. To be fair, like I touch wood there, but like wood, he looked like he got bashed a couple of times in Origin, and he still just got up and just played on like nothing happened.
And I think he's enjoying footy at the Knights.
That's what I think so too. I think and they're playing well.
That's a miss, that one, guys. If you still got Ponga, I wouldn't sell him now.
No,
Plath, we spoke about. I think you can still.
I would probably flip Plath if I could, especially to a hooker needy. Hooker needy is how you need to sell him because 2RF, no one cares.
No, but if I could give Plath up for Coro, I'd love that for the finals run.
I like that.
Grant, we said sell. I think that's a miss now. He's just been quite good and stuff, so I'm okay with that. We also spoke about getting Edwards and Lehigh. I still like that a lot. I spoke about selling Karaz, and I was probably wrong on scoring.
But I'm going to have to think about it now because I'm sick of just seeing him limping. You know what I mean? And I know he's still killing it, but...
Yeah. So I was wrong because he's scored well, but obviously I didn't know he'd play fullback at that period, right? So that's a bit different. And I still would say...
But he's also apparently got a calf injury.
Torn calf and then a knee
calf and he's still playing, so...
We said to grab Campbell. I think that's a huge win because he's going to get dual and he's been quite good since then. Clifford, we said sell... only if you can go to Campbell or something like that.
Yeah, you know what
and also Clifford's been below average, so we were right in the sense of his actual performances have dipped.
Yeah,
Tino, we said to go and get. I still love that. He looks immense.
Yeah,
and I think I said sell Toby C for Tino. I think that's probably wrong. Toby's been really good, And I was thinking an injury was around the corner. Maybe it's not. So, and they play 18 and stuff. So I was probably a miss there for me.
Oh, look, I'd still do it. I'd be just trying to get something else.
Yeah, true. I get you. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Tino's still a good get. IPAP, it was a sell, and we said don't, which was right. He's been immense.
Yeah.
KPP, we said to buy. That's just injury. Can't control that. Lasardi sell, though, I think we nailed. He's been not amazing. He scored a try on the weekend and wasn't amazing. So
no, but he's still okay as well. Yeah, I mean, so like, if you've held him, like, it's not a
100%
big a deal either.
And then we had Kennelly as a buy, who's been really good. He's been good. Line breaks, bro. So we nailed that. So I just want to talk about that one. Dude, it gets intense here. This is a big question. This is from my man, Paul. Paul, thank you for your support throughout the last couple of years. He says, I'm really interested in what your strategy and planning ahead for finals. Is it just based on strength of schedule, and is that positional or more team-based? Well, we've touched on teams at a macro level and positional.
Yeah, both.
He goes, I finished high on the table last few years, and I've gone out in straight sets. So just curious what I can do now to give myself the best chance for finals. Obviously limited because he's in a trade, no trade zone. They have a trade deadline in round 10, which is really early. What are things I can look out for with waivers, etc., to give myself the best chance? I just want to touch on one thing before I hand it to you. With the team-based strength of schedules, Paul, you nailed it. Forwards in the middle, obviously, matchups don't really matter. So don't stress too much about that. Edge-based matchups do matter more so. And I always like to think that a team in a good matchup, everyone tends to get some boost unless they're just a tackle bot. It can go the other way. Yeah. That's sort of the team-based one. I think it is a bit more positional. But yeah, I think it's probably more important to talk about what you can do, given the fact you can't trade. Griff, I'm sure you've thought about this a little bit, mate. If you could not trade, what are some things you look out for with waivers and stuff to give himself the best chance?
Okay, so, and this is off the top of the dome because I'm looking at Draft Oracle right now. So this is actually a potential feature that could come into Oracle.
Okay.
All right. So looking in the research on the player database, right? Yep. Which if you look at any player and you can see what they've done this year so far, right? Yep. Absolutely perfect. And I love how you can change and you can tinker in and out. What if on the other side that hasn't scored yet, you actually had what teams they're coming up against for the rest of the season and what they've actually let in against those positions?
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm not saying it's possible because I don't know how the inner workings of Oracle work, but this is just what I'm saying. So, if that was possible, right, then I would start to tinker a little bit in there myself, and I'd be looking at, as you said, backs, right? Because forwards, it doesn't matter, right? There's no matchups that we have to really worry about or anything like that. But if there was something that I could look in saying that. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna look at the tools that you've already got in there with the stat suite. You know what I mean? Which to a point, I think even just like next 7 rounds would probably be what I'd be looking at. So that's all I'd be looking at really. Like if I can't trade right now, I'm just going to be trying to find what are the best free agents and waivers that I can be potentially getting for the rest of the season. And I'd also be pinpointing when buys are happening so that there could be potential guys that get dropped in those periods of time as well. Because then you're going to be real quick. Then especially if you can get them as free agents as well, like even better. Like if someone drops them, no one's thinking about it. Because the thing is, if you let them go in that free agency period, you might be fighting it out with the waivers, and you might not get your guy. You know what I mean? Whereas you've already pinpointed him, like, oh wow, that guy really did drop him, but I can't get him now because I'm not high enough on the waiver. So I guess that's the only real thing, the real key that I would be looking at is, and that's what I've always done. Like when I think I told you the story when in my second season I come last, right? Which we're only in an 8-man league that year, but we still had a top 8 final system, right? So I knew from around this time that I ain't gonna improve my position because that's how bad it already started. So all I did, and because I tried to trade, believe me, but I had nothing of worth. You know what I mean? Like there was nothing there. So I had to rely on the free agency and the waivers. So all I did was just pinpoint all the matchups, who had great runs from here on at in the centers, like on the wing, left wing, right wing, all that sort of stuff. Because CT dubs are probably the easiest to sort of pinpoint matchups and write them out as well.
Rowers,
But then also be as strategic as possible as well in grabbing that guy that I'm not necessarily going to play in round 22, but I am going to play on round 23. You know what I mean? So you still got to sort of do that sort of stuff as well. So
I love it. So a few things on that. So first of all, problem with the stats there and the stats suite is I filter for like I don't have just crap names coming because the list would be too long. So for Paul, he's not going to see, just to your point, he's not going to see the lower end
exactly.
guy. So that's okay. Right. That's fine. And secondly, obviously trading is limited, so there's names are all going to be owned. So you've nailed it. He needs to go beyond that. What I would do, Paul, in your situation with no trading and like looking at the lower end is literally look at like those matchups and the teams, and I'd just be creating like a secondary league map in Excel if I was you, with guys who have like, this sounds complex. It's not going to be so complex, but just in under each team heading in Excel, I would put down there like players that are like a risk of like injury dropping or buys or whatever, and then like just build a little calendar effectively. Like in round 22, the Manly have a buy. This guy could get dropped, and it could be like Jason Saab, but he has a good team maybe match up the next week or in 26. Okay, so then I do a little indicator there, and this is a bad example, Saab, but what I'm getting at is
no, it's not, because you pick up Farlolo now.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
Like, okay, I know what you're saying. Like you're saying that because Manly got the buy, but the flip side is that okay, if you believe that Saab potentially might get dropped, well, Farlolo is probably your man as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what I'm saying is like in his comp though, looking at the teams that would need a win. So anyone who's like just close to finals, getting on in, they can't trade, but pressuring them or doing anything or just monitoring them, going, this guy needs to win this week. It's round 22. If he wins, he makes finals.
Yeah.
He can't hold any Manly. He's going to purge his bench. I need to have high waiver priority. Because so I'd be finding the potential band of guys that could get dropped or free agents, like enter free agency, and making sure I've got waiver priority for that sweet spot. If that's 2 weeks from finals, fine. If it's 1 week from finals, fine. But I think your waiver priority based on, and then pressuring guys going, hey, messaging, hey mate, you're in do or die this week. Like, don't forget to purge your bench. If you don't win, you don't make finals. That guy, you look at his bench, he's going to purge him. You go, damn, he's got Zach Hosking or fucking whatever, And it's okay, now your waiver goes straight for Zach Hosking. You just improved your team for finals. This is such a bad example, but the logic makes sense.
Yeah.
The only way to do that, Paul, is to create it like a spreadsheet and literally just hand do it and go, Hudson's team, he's going to have to, he's clean for finals. He's not going to drop anyone. But if he doesn't make finals, he then has Tigers by, he might have to purge Team A off his bench to win the game. I need to have waiver for round 23, right? You hear me?
Yeah.
Bro. Oh, well, no, I'm not going to drop Team A because he's on buy, so that's a bad example of AE. I'm trying to think of things, but...
actually, you've already got it inbuilt here with the 3-round look-aheads. You know what I mean? So, like, you've still got even that sort of capability as well. Like, okay, it's only 3 rounds, but...
by that time, yeah.
But, like, you're looking at, elite this week. Like, I've got Dylan Edwards up for some reason, but...
Yeah.
Elite this week, tough next week, then no data for round 19. Yeah. So you can at least just generate some plays through there and just have a look.
I think Paul's making finals and he wants to know what.
Well, even better. If you already know you're making it, that's
just
perfect.
To be clear, I think he's making it. And so what I'm trying to say is like, how does he improve his team without trading? The only way is to find who's going to get dropped and harvest like waiver priority and do some stuff around like just looking at like someone who needs to like purge their bench. If they need to purge their bench to get AE, like who's got depth where you don't, and I target them as a waiver pickup if they get dropped.
Yeah,
and just
there's
your league mates.
There's Dolphins in round 21. There's Eels in round 20. Broncos, Dragons, Panthers next week. In round 19, and then obviously next week if he plays buys, I mean, he's got a huge opportunity next week potentially.
Paul, those guys that are either like 1 or 2 wins in finals and 1 or 2 wins out of finals, I would be looking at their bench, who's their excess talent that they can drop to make sure they get their AE score to make finals. If it comes down to the final week or two, make sure you've got high priority. That's my advice, is just to start mapping the fringe components that could get dropped, which you then waiver. Because if you can't trade, how do you improve your team? It's only waivers and free agencies. Yeah. Therefore, how do you get the best talent? It's when it gets dropped. Because at this point in the season,
100%,
there's not much more going to come back. And the last one would be looking at whether Noah Martin's coming back, whether maybe Nicholson's coming back. Those deep injury guys, it's pretty lean. Guys like Britton Nickera, right? You stash him because the finals run. You know you're going to make it. You just ride the wave. That sort of stuff, mate. So let's move on to the next one, unless you have any more thoughts there.
Oh, no, I think you hit the nail on the head with the injury thing too, because even just thinking of this week and next week and potentially the week after, even a 4 or 5 week injury for someone that potentially can't make finals, they might just drop them anyway.
Bro, 100. Like,
and even if they're back in 4 weeks and, whatever, you can start just stashing those blokes
like it's
anyway.
round 17. Like, what if Jackson Ford came back 2 weeks early in round
Yeah,
25? You could stash him.
exactly.
Bad example, but you get me.
Yeah.
Next question. This guy, he plays flex, has Galvin Campbell low, so heaps of depth halves and 5/8s, and then a bit of depth in fullback. And he wants to know his Jaden Campbell for Keanu Kinney. My response to this one, Griff, really quickly, was they do the same thing, and Campbell has more like goal kicking and more flexibility. So I would just roll with Campbell there. But what would you do?
Yeah, but okay. The context is the fact that he's got Galvin Campbell, Luai, and Clifford. Yeah, wow, that's an embarrassment of riches there. Obviously, you sort of didn't want Luai, but at the same time, the other guys have probably got the value to be trading.
So Luai and Clifford buy and final.
But yeah, for Keanu Kinney, yeah, I think it's too similar, really.
It's too similar. Like Campbell to me, like if Keanu Kinney's going to score 120, Campbell's probably going 80 plus goal kicking.
Yeah,
and
but he's playing flex though, isn't he? So yeah, I mean,
flex.
you could. Yeah, it's only really Luai that you're not playing right now, really.
Yeah, I think that is right. I think he's playing Campbell in halfback, Clifford 5/8. Galvin's his flex, and he plays Walsh in fullback.
Yeah,
it's basically, does he chase another fullback? I mean, I just wouldn't, but they're too like for like for me. I personally think those two. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, but it is yeah, I haven't really done the 3 halves like way. I've always just went for the 2 fullbacks in flex. I'm not saying it's wrong. You know what I mean? Go with that with the halves. In fact, you can almost have an argument that the halves have been better than fullbacks this year.
And Galvin's floor is immense, dude. It's like 70s.
Yeah,
crazy.
that's all. Like I'd probably be trying to. Yeah, I mean the fact that Campbell is going to go to 5/8 though, that's the thing here.
Yeah.
So if you can go Galvin Campbell and then sell Clifford.
Yeah, he needs to sell Clifford or Luai, in my opinion, especially Luai off the performances he's had.
If you could sell Clifford for Keanu Kinney, yeah, 100%.
That trade, that Campbell for Keanu is a coin flip, but I just see Campbell as he's had more 80-plus games than Kinney, and that's what matters to me.
I would keep Campbell because you're right. The goal kicking is what you want.
I'd take 3 scores above 80 than the Kinney 1 score that's 140.
Yeah, same.
Then the other 2 being like 50s. I don't care about that. So yeah, that's a no for me. But then Walsh for Edwards, bro. Like we've spoken about this all night.
No.
It's brutal to me. Edwards surfaces as having the finals run. Walsh doesn't. But Walsh has been so unders that the model can't see what Walsh can be. Okay, remember that.
Yeah.
We as players, we know what Walsh can achieve and his ceiling. The model just says Walsh 2026, not a good player.
Yeah.
Which is true. Not a good player, dude. It's like a 90, 270s and shit.
Yeah.
So what are you doing, man? Walsh or Edwards?
I'm probably going to stick with Walsh.
I think with this team, and I know his team's pretty good, I think you take the upside, and you don't need a 70 from Edwards, whereas you could use a 120 from Walshy.
That's right.
Yep. So that's that one.
Yeah.
Question 3, coming first in NRL Fantasy Draft, which is more base orientated, mate, where we use their stats now, the third tackle in, but they still have scoring less. So like a try is worth 10, not 17. I think a line break's worth 5. A try assist is like 8. It's a bit brutal in that sense. So your guns over there are like Cleary, Terrell May, Herbie still. But then your wingers and stuff are just pretty bad, dude. Like no wingers are really relevant over there except like a Starko.
It's wing and fullback, isn't it?
It's wing fullback, and like you'd always play a fullback, and wingers like because the line break try thing's so minor there and they get like less like base stuff over there. So he has one option in his center spot. Based on what we've spoken about tonight, it's Gagai for me, mate. I think the tackle busting, the offense they're in, there's try assists for him. There's line break assists with Dom Young. I think it's Gagai pretty clearly, Carl. So thanks for the question, mate. Thanks for tuning in as well. So that was a pretty easy one. Just for your information, Carl, in Classic, in NRL Fantasy, I do have Tomoko as buy coverage, and he's actually been okay. But for me, in this situation, preparing for Finals 2, which I know wasn't your exact question, Gagai ticks both those boxes, whereas the others don't really. Okay?
Yeah.
Mate, I think that does us, bro. Yeah, that's it.
It's a good one.
There's anything else to touch on, mate? Big discussion. Just the key takeaways: Sharks, Cowboys, Titans. A little bit St. George. Big on Roosters. Savala was a great call out, mate. A bit underrated. Lots of names. Thanks for joining, mate. Glad that you've entered is it top 3 now? Third? You're third now in your comp? Yep. So I'm first in both my comps. Top 10K in Classic 2, which is pretty pretty freaking hilarious because I don't
Nice.
put a lot of time in it. So we're tracking well, mate. We spoke about our accountability down here too, which was good. We got some things right and some things wrong, which I'm more than happy to be wrong because it takes the effort to kind of get on and have an opinion. So I'm more than happy to be wrong. So thanks for all your analysis, mate. I hope everyone benefited from this, but it's never too early to start planning. My favorite discussion point was probably around what Paul can do and just getting like really deep in the weeds. And then we spoke a bit about like final structures, which I love, chatting about the pros and cons of different setups. A lot of ways to skin a cat, guys. But always, if you're not happy, become the commissioner yourself and just do it yourself. It's always the best way. Thanks, everyone. Griff, I'll message you soon. Thank you so much, mate. Love the chat, mate. See ya.
See you, mate.